The name Sean "Diddy" Combs once glittered with the allure of success. He was a music mogul, a fashion icon, a symbol of entrepreneurial spirit. Yet beneath this polished veneer, a darker narrative has begun to unfold, one that speaks of manipulation and control. As of May 2025, Combs is embroiled in a high-profile trial, facing serious allegations including sex trafficking and racketeering. These charges paint a starkly different picture from his public persona. The courtroom has become a stage for examining not just alleged crimes, but the insidious ways power can be wielded to dominate others. It's a story that forces us to look beyond the bright lights and into the shadows. The allegations against Diddy bring these concepts into sharp focus. Testimonies describe an environment where psychological games were allegedly a constant. Witnesses are recounting experiences that suggest a calculated and sustained campaign of psychological manipulation. The world watches as these claims are scrutinized, prompting a wider conversation about the nature of power and its potential for abuse in seemingly glamorous settings. Coercive control is a pervasive and insidious form of abuse. It's not always about physical violence. Often, it's a subtle, creeping pattern of domination that erodes a victim's freedom and sense of self. Cassie Ventura's testimony provides a chilling illustration of this. She described how Combs allegedly controlled nearly every aspect of her life. He reportedly dictated what she wore, who she could interact with, and even when she was permitted to leave their shared residence. This constant surveillance and micromanagement are classic hallmarks of coercive control, designed to make the victim feel powerless and entirely dependent on the abuser. The cycle of abuse often begins with a deceptive phase known as love bombing. Ventura recounted an initial period where Combs lavished her with gifts, propelled her into fame, and created an illusion of a perfect, supportive partnership. This idealization phase is a powerful hook. It creates a strong emotional bond and makes the victim believe they have found someone truly special. However, this intense positive attention is merely a prelude to a darker pattern. It's a calculated strategy to lower the victim's defenses and draw them into the abuser's sphere of influence, making subsequent manipulation more effective. Gaslighting is a particularly insidious form of psychological manipulation. It's a tactic where the abuser denies or distorts the victim's reality, making them doubt their own memory, perception, and sanity. Multiple testimonies in the Combs trial have pointed to this behavior. Victims, including Cassie Ventura, reportedly heard phrases like, "You're imagining things," or that incidents weren't that bad, or even that abusive actions were somehow expressions of love. This constant invalidation chips away at the victim's confidence in their own mind. They begin to wonder if they are indeed oversensitive, mistaken, or even losing their grip on reality, which is precisely the abuser's goal. The impact of gaslighting is profound and deeply damaging. It creates a fog of confusion and self-doubt. When someone you trust, especially someone in a position of power or intimacy, repeatedly tells you that your perceptions are wrong, it can be incredibly disorienting. The victim starts to internalize the abuser's narrative, losing faith in their own judgment. This makes it harder to recognize the abuse for what it is, and even harder to seek help. The abuser effectively rewrites the victim's reality, making themselves the ultimate authority on what is true and what is not. Section 4. The price of silence, power, intimidation, and the web of NDAs. Power, especially when unchecked, can become a formidable tool for manipulation and control. In the case against Sean Combs, allegations suggest that his significant influence and wealth were leveraged to silence potential dissenters and maintain an environment of fear. Reports indicate the alleged use of non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, as a means to gag ex-employees, artists, and executives. These legal documents, while common in business, can be wielded in a coercive manner, effectively buying silence and preventing individuals from speaking out about misconduct or abuse. The threat of legal repercussions or career ruin can be a powerful deterrent, trapping individuals in a web of enforced secrecy. Intimidation tactics, whether overt or subtle, play a crucial role in maintaining such control. The testimony from a former personal assistant, who recounted driving an armed Combs to confront Suge Knight, paints a picture of a willingness to use fear. Even without direct threats, the sheer power imbalance between a figure like Combs and his employees or associates can create an atmosphere of intimidation. People may fear losing their jobs, their reputations, or even facing direct harm if they challenge the status quo. This fear can be paralyzing, leading to complicity or silence even in the face of wrongdoing. It's a Machiavellian dynamic where the ends justify the means, and loyalty is secured through fear rather than respect. The alleged freak-off supplies found during the raid on Combs' Miami Beach home, including baby oil and Astroglide lubricant, alongside illicit drugs and firearms with defaced serial numbers, further contribute to a disturbing picture. Section 5. Echoes in the halls of power, unchecked influence and its human cost. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs, if proven true, are not just about one individual's alleged transgressions. They serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and influence, particularly within environments that often prioritize image and profit over accountability. When individuals attain immense wealth, fame, and control over others' livelihoods, the potential for abuse can escalate dramatically if there are no robust systems of oversight or consequences. The testimonies describe a world where Combs' directives were allegedly absolute, and his desires took precedence, creating a breeding ground for the dark psychology tactics discussed. This raises critical questions about the structures that enable such behavior. The human cost of such unchecked power is immense, as illustrated by the emotional and psychological toll described by witnesses. Dr. Dawn Hughes spoke of victims feeling trapped, resorting to substance abuse to numb pain, and experiencing profound shame and humiliation. Cassie Ventura's testimony about her opiate addiction to cope with alleged freak-offs and coerced sexual encounters underscores the devastating impact. These are not abstract psychological concepts. They are real people whose lives have been deeply affected. The patterns of idealization, devaluation, gaslighting, and coercive control leave lasting scars, eroding self-worth and distorting one's perception of healthy relationships. This case also prompts a broader reflection on celebrity culture and the music industry.